why it's dangerous to leave strategy just to your accountant and what to do instead. Welcome to today's episode of Talking Shop. I'm Dean from the Workshop Whisperer. This is the original Workshop Whisperer herself, Rachael Evans. Rach, tell us, why is it to leave strategy just all up to your accountant?
Why is it dangerous? Well, first of all, let's have a shout out to the accountants out there who have done their time and done the hard yards, learning to understand small business, not just to record the bookkeeping, because those ones are the ones that truly can help propel us forward in business if we are fortunate enough to be working with one. But if you're not working with one of those accountants, there's a couple of things that you have to recognise about the profession and how they can be interacting with your small business in auto repair. So first thing to recognise is that accountants come out of university and they get to go and work in an accounting practice, but they have never had any small business ownership experience at that point. Now, the accounting practice that you are with may have an established owner of that business, and they were the people that originally were working on your accounting for you, but as their business has grown, they have hired other accountants, and one of those may have been assigned to your business. So you've now got somebody who's probably technically proficient in dealing with the money that has been earned by your business, because accounting on the one hand is the practice of dealing with money you've already earned, not the money you're about to earn. So in other words, you may have a junior accountant working on your business, and that's not necessarily great. They might be getting your business activity statements, your BAS, lodged on time. They may be making sure that the bookkeeping is accurate. But when it comes to the strategies required to help you grow your business, they won't necessarily have the experience that you need. And that is the situation that we find many auto repair shop owners in when we speak to them. And they come to us in all kinds of financial states. That could be hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of tax debt that the accountant has encouraged them to go on a payment plan with or for. And it's often quite confusing to you as the auto repair shop owner as to how you got into the situation of owing that much to the tax office, and then your accountant is telling you, oh, it's okay, we'll just go on a payment plan. It's never a sign that things are okay that you have to go on a payment plan. It means that the business ate up the money that you were supposed to send to the government. And maybe it ate it up because your expenses are too high, maybe it ate it up because you're carrying too many team members, or maybe you took too much money out of the business without allowing for tax. Whatever the reason is, if you hear the words, it's okay, we'll put you on a payment plan, that might feel good in the moment because you can alleviate that heavy burden of, a few $100,000 that the tax office is saying is due and payable now, and you can space that out over a couple of years. But that doesn't fix the problem. It just puts a Band-Aid on it. So that might be something that you're familiar with. And the reason that the accountant says it's okay is because there are so many small businesses in that situation. So you are just likely not the worst of them that they've dealt with that day, and you are okay compared to some of their other clients.
You go.
I was going to say, there's another reason why you can't just rely on your accountant for strategy, and that is because of what I said just before, in that if you have been assigned an accountant that isn't the owner of the business, or they are quite young and quite new, they simply don't have the understanding of how things work inside your auto repair shop. So at the Workshop Whisperer, we've got 15 financial benchmarks that we help our clients work towards, where it's not a guess as to what your margin should be. It's not a guess as to whether you need to raise your prices. It's not a guess as to where your gross profit margin should be sitting. It's all factual and logical and written right on the page in front of you when you're working on it. So your accountant shouldn't be saying things to you like, you only need to raise your price when I tell you to. Or don't do that, that will make you too expensive. If your numbers are run through our benchmarks and they say that your business can't provide the money that you need it to pay its bills, to pay the tax office, to pay your employee entitlements and to pay you, then you've got no choice but to do what the numbers say, not what the accountant is thinking is best.
Well, we've spoken about forever about having a workshop success team, which is your accountant, your bookkeeper, your financial planner, and your coach or your mentor. And why do we have a team there? Well, because primarily an accountant's role is to help you reduce your tax burden. And as Rach said before, they're dealing in money that you've already collected, not future growth. Now, this is not all accountants, of course. I'm not making a blanket general statement, but
no, there's some great ones.
But in our experience, so many of the auto repair shop owners that we talk to have accrued or are in the process of paying off large tax debts that they've accrued because they've just continued trading with the same level of cash, but expenses have gone up around them. So if you're an accountant and they're saying, well, you know, we don't want you to earn too much more because you'll have to pay more tax, that's a bit of a sign that maybe...
That's a red flag.
I was going to say red flag. That's a red flag that perhaps the accountant's not looking at your business's best interests. The one for me as well is where you haven't had a great year, but the suggestion is go and treat yourself to a new vehicle because that'll help reduce your tax debt.
Yeah.
Well, that's buying things.
Also a red flag. That's actually killing any profit that you have made.
Yeah, and that's buying things you don't need with money you don't have to impress people who probably don't care. Yes, your accountant's role is to help you pay the least amount of tax possible, but if that means you've got to pay more tax one year, it's because your business has actually grown. And in concert with your financial planner, bookkeeper, coach, mentor, the goal here is to increase your profitability. So sure, you might have to pay more tax, but you've actually got more money in your back pocket anyway.
Yeah, so I think if you're unsure which type of accountant you have and if the quality of advice that you're receiving is the right advice for where you're at in business in your auto repair shop, reach out to us. We have accountants that we recommend in Australia and New Zealand, and that's because we've been referring to them for years. We have many happy clients who are looked after by those accountants. We know they're the type of accountant that I mentioned right at the start of the video that deserves congratulations, not do you even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you'll definitely know the difference between a good accountant and a great accountant. Thanks for hanging out with us on today's episode of Talking Shop, and we'll see you on the next episode in the coming days.